Welcome to Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Christina. And today I'm going to be asking Caleb, what is something that you like / enjoy?
It's so funny. I looked at you so you could start the episode, but then I forgot I have to ask you, what's your contentment level?
My contentment level. 7.
7's good.
Yeah.
7? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I've been bustling and busy all morning and just now sat down. But once I have some of my chai, I'm sure to go up to an 8 and chat with you. So.
Okay. 7's still so high.
That's not really. I don't know.
7
That's middling.
out of 10?
It's middling.
I guess technically.
Yeah.
But that's really good.
It's like a D. No, a C. Yeah, it's a C. What's your contentment level?
That's a passing grade. My contentment is probably a 6.
That's pretty good for you.
Yeah.
Great.
Pretty good.
Cool.
All
well,
right.
then, might I ask you, what is something that you like / enjoy, at least this point in time?
Something I like / enjoy is the question of why do so many of us retreat into delusion when life gets hard?
Delusion?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Do many people retreat into delusion?
I feel like a lot of people do.
Okay, you'll have to explain
I know
to
I
me
have.
what delusion is.
Okay. Well, I'm going to explain to you what imagination is because I think we use I think we use our imagination for delusion.
Okay.
So
our imagination leads to delusion.
Yes, it can lead to delusion. Absolutely. So the definition I found was for imagination, and it was the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses.
Wow.
Right?
I think just saying your imagination means more to me than whatever you said. So pretty much something that's not, you're thinking about something that's not real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not present
really
to the senses.
Presently happening.
Yes.
Makes sense.
So a little bit about the history of this. So studies suggest that when reality becomes too harsh or overwhelming, historically, some people have chosen to create or adopt alternate versions of reality. According to a 2019 study in Frontiers in Psychology, individuals under high stress sometimes use, quote, positive illusions as coping mechanisms. These can be protective in the short term, but over time, they may prevent healthy adjustment. Another study from Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin by Taylor and Brown in 1988 found that moderate positive illusions, like slightly overestimating our abilities, can actually promote motivation and resilience.
That makes sense.
So the line between healthy imagination and harmful delusion isn't always easy to define, which is why it's important to kind of have a middle ground stance on this subject, I think.
Wow. So your stance is that like our imagination or imagining things can be beneficial, but then it can tip over into being detrimental to one's health.
Yes. Yeah. And I think right now it's easier to tip over into being a little bit delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So imagination at its best, talk about that first, is what fuels creativity, innovation, and problem solving. Research from the Journal of Creative Behavior shows that people who engage in constructive daydreaming are often better at planning and reaching their goals. However, when imagination shifts into denial of reality, it can stunt growth. So, for example, psychologist Paul Watchell, interesting last name, points out that living too long in a self-created fantasy can stop people from addressing the problems in front of them. Escapism can feel easier than facing pain, but avoidance rarely leads to healing.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you can use your imagination to escape pain, but it causes you to avoid healing.
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah. And I think that everybody these days is trying to escape some sort of pain.
Totally.
We're all coping with something.
Mm-hmm.
But then that can lead to avoidance of the real issue, which leads into delusion. It actually makes you start to believe what you're imagining is the truth.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as a culture today, we just don't want to face reality. We don't want to face the hard facts of who we are, our circumstances, our family, sometimes our friends, hard conversations, stuff like that. And so we'll delude ourselves into thinking, I don't know, like pick something out of a hat. Like I'm too good for that friend anyways,
Right.
or my family doesn't love me anyways. Why should I put the effort into having that hard conversation? We can actually just delve deeper into that imaginative place that could be based partly in fact. But the more that we delve into that and make that our reality, the more it leads to delusion, because that fact that you're relying on for your reality isn't fully true.
Yeah.
So I think we all live in delusion
Yeah.
in a sense,
Totally.
but there are people out there who really, really, truly have accepted delusion over reality.
Yeah.
Like flat earthers, for example. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you believe the earth's flat?
No, I do not.
You don't?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So you're not living in delusion.
No, I'm not. Pretty sure on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be living in other delusions. But that's the thing about living in delusion is you don't know that you are mostly.
What do you
Unless
think?
it's a willful, avoidance of like truth and reality. Like you just want to choose to believe something because that's easier. Like you want to choose to believe that we're in a simulation, like we're in the Matrix, rather than like have to figure out why do bad things happen to good people and things like that.
Yes.
You might not really believe we're in a simulation, but that's easier to believe than just being okay with the ambiguousness of not understanding everything in life.
That's a really good point.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's covering an insecurity about knowing everything, you know? I know, several people who believe that we're in a simulation, and it's almost, I feel like it would be comforting to believe we're in a simulation because then you have the answers.
Right. You're like, oh, like I tried so hard things aren't working out for me. It's not my fault. It's because I'm in a simulation. It's not
Totally.
real.
Yeah. And I think in my life, delusion has been linked a lot to the victim mindset. And this isn't part of my topic, but just to jump off on this bunny trail, I really feel a lot of the delusion I lived in for a long period of time was because I was making a victim of myself.
And explain, what do you mean living in a delusion? What did that look like?
So it was like kind of what I said about the conversation, avoiding hard conversations. And it's just like, that person really doesn't love me anyways. Or, my friends aren't really there for me anyways. And so I don't really need them.
Yeah.
So living in that delusion, accepting that victim mindset enabled me to push them away and make my reality, I'm the only one who loves me, and Jesus is the only one who loves me, and that's it.
Everybody else sucks.
Everybody else sucks at loving me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was I put it on them, and I made myself the victim. And I find myself, I struggle with that a lot, the victim mindset. And I think that once you break through that victim mindset, it cuts off a lot of the delusion in our lives. I've thought quite a lot about the victim mindset recently, just writing down thoughts and things. And I think one of the healthiest things for it is just to accept responsibility in life, even for breaking off the delusion in your life. Just accept responsibility for the circumstances around you.
Yeah.
You can actually be victimized in some circumstances, but that doesn't mean you have to live like a victim.
Yeah.
Being victimized should be a place that should be something that we feel and then we move past because we're victors in Christ.
Yep.
We're victors through his blood. And so we're not going to stay in being that victim our whole lives, which enables us to break off the delusion that I feel like everybody in society is like, my job sucks because of that person, or I hate my life because of this circumstance over there. It's like, well, you're making yourself to be a victim through all of this. And if you just accepted responsibility for what you can control, it takes a lot of the power out of other people's hands, and it brings you back down to reality. It breaks off that delusion that life is out to get you. Yeah.
Wow. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you find you're somebody who lives a lot in your own personal imagination?
No.
Okay.
No. Very much so not. I think I've swung pretty much not as hard as you could go the other way, but I've swung very far the other way now where I'm very grounded in what is real, what is fact,
You are
what
a
is
big
reality.
dreamer, though. Like, you have big dreams for the future.
Yes, absolutely.
But you feel like that's based in a reality of something that could be.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I do have imagination and dreams when it comes to the positives of the future. And that's something I've had to grow in. But that could become, I guess that could only become delusion if I made that my reality without it being real. Like those dreams coming true. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you dream a lot?
I do.
Yeah?
I definitely have a very active imagination. Less when I feel like I'm going about my day, but more so like I have lots of like lucid dreams. So when I'm dreaming, I'm like able to kind of control the dream. And I definitely have like I'm controlling my dreams and imagining like, what would life be if we won the lottery? This is how I would do a 6-month vacation to Europe. And I'm literally thinking through, here's the places we'd go, and we'd leave on this date and we'd come back on this date. I can kind of tend towards doing that. And which might be a little form of escapism, but it happens often when I'm like kind of dreaming or half asleep kind of an idea. But I've had a couple times in life where I've like had these reoccurring imaginations or dreams. And then I'm like, oh, like that date that I had set in my imagination dream of, we'll leave after we won the lottery, we'll leave on September 1st for a 6-month vacation.
Totally.
I'm like, it is September 8th and I am here and I am not in Paris. So that could lead to a little bit of delusion. And I could see people who do that continually throughout their day. They're imagining things that aren't truly there, could lead to a mental instability.
Yeah, because there's trauma that you try to get away from. Like, I think that people who are raised in traumatic households and things like that can lead into you just living in a delusion because it's better than reality.
Right.
It's less painful than reality. And I think that those people need help.
Yeah.
Like, need a lot of therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was raised in a quite stable, healthy household.
Not saying that at all.
No, I'm just saying, but I loved reading books and listening to audiobooks almost constantly. I still do to this day. I'm a bit better about not having a constant stream of information, but I think in part because I have this thirst for knowledge and I love learning things. And so I would, growing up, sit and read. These are kids' books. They're only like 100 pages long, but I would read like 3-4 books a day. And then I'm listening to audiobooks with other stories while I'm cleaning and doing my math homework and going for a walk. So I think I just loved consuming information so much that it could lead to like imagination. Your imagination, because you have to have imagination when you're reading a book to kind of contextualize and see what you're reading. That my mind just kind of always does that. So I have to be like, I don't know, aware of like turning that off.
Interesting. So that's a way you grew up.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just because I loved consuming all that. And we didn't watch a ton of TV or movies or like video games comparative to my friends, which when you're watching TV, you're visualizing something. You don't have to imagine it. But I think listening to audiobooks and reading constantly, you have to use your imagination. And we also played a lot of pretend. Me and my brother, we would, with my friend Libby and Abby, we would play like, we're on the Underground Railroad and we're helping get slaves out, or we are on the frontier. And, we just were very active and like it was lots of justice imagination playing,
Yeah.
We're freeing people or things like that. So I think I just use my imagination a lot in a good way, but then I need to learn how to turn it off. Yeah.
Well, you also played survival a lot with like, what would I do if I had 15 beans a day or something like that?
Yes.
That was because of Little House on the Prairie though, wasn't it?
It was like Boxcar Children. It was a book series of like these 4 orphans who like ran away and how they survived. And I really was into like the Depression era, like books and stuff.
Yeah. That's why you married me. Into that depression.
So I'd have these magazines and books about like, this is, people worked in warehouses or they, survived on $1 a day. And like, they'd have graphs for like eggs cost, 3 cents each and bread with this. And I would literally even write down like, this is how I'd spend my dollar if I was living in the 1940s.
I think that's awesome.
So very active imagination. Yeah. I would have survived.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
would have.
I would have
That's
made
such
it.
a unique thing, though. I've never met another person who's done that as a child.
I'm like 9
Yeah,
doing this.
You're writing down. You're like, I would bracket my laudanum so that I could survive the winter.
Yes, exactly. Little House on the Prairie, definitely. The Long Winter is one of the books. And it was like a really long winter that year where it snowed for like 4 or 5 months, and they had to twist together hay really tight so they could use it as logs to burn in their fire. And I'd be like, this is how I do that. And I'd store this up and stuff. So I was ready for all circumstances,
For sure.
Been great if I lived, 80 years ago.
Yeah. Instead, it was just imagination and a delusion.
A delusion.
Not
a little
but-
delulu.
A little delulu. That makes it cute.
Yeah,
Cool.
there we go.
Mental instability delulu. All right, moving on. So, some practical advice, just in closing, on ways to stay grounded in reality. So, how can we improve our lives in reality while still using our imagination for its intended purpose, like surviving the winter, if you were in Little House on the Prairie? So, number 1 is practical reality checks. So it's time to ask, is this belief or thought grounded in fact, or is it something I want to be true? This can be done through journaling or even asking for feedback from trusted friends. So I think social interaction is huge here. Like, you got to get out and talk to people.
Yeah.
Number 2 is to set small, real goals. So instead of imagining a whole new version of your life, start with achievable steps. Research on goal setting, something that would show clear, realistic goals that improve performance and confidence in where you want to go in your life. Number 3 is use imagination for growth, not escape. So try visualization exercises that are future oriented. Athletes, for instance, use mental imagery to practice performance. This imagination at its best is still tied to reality and action. So number 4 would be face discomfort with support. Avoiding harsh truths only makes them grow larger. So studies in resilience show that having a social support when facing reality improves mental health outcomes.
Yeah.
Number 5, the last one, is balance reflection and action. So reflection without action can lead to rumination. Imagination without grounding can lead to delusion. So find a balance by pairing every imagined idea with one concrete action you can take.
Okay, so if you are dreaming for the future, pairing that with actual steps towards getting to that future.
Yes.
Kind of an idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think this is the next step in achieving who you want to be, like it said earlier. But you also get those people who are like me, who are like, I want to start busking. And you're looking up amps online and you're thinking about buying all this equipment. And then you kind of start to head that direction and buy some stuff or make some steps towards it. And then you just fully stop. And I would say that's better than delusion.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But make tiny steps. I would say take tiny steps towards your goal so that you don't take these big leaps of buying an amp and then buying a guitar and getting out there on the street and having no idea what you're doing.
Big rapper.
Yes, exactly. Make it small enough that you can continue going.
I like that.
Every single day and don't, try to eat the entire meal at once.
Okay.
I was trying to hit an analogy, but I really came up dry and you didn't help at all.
I was thinking of my next point. I had that
Oh,
thought.
okay. Yeah, no, continue.
So I'm sorry that I didn't come in clutch for
You're
that analogy.
totally fine. It's not on you.
I was just thinking of some I think that the idea of people living in a delusion, we think of somebody who's they're convinced that the aliens are coming back next month, and they're like, the aliens are coming, and they've changed their whole life for that. I think more people live in the delusion of how their life could be different, or if this happens, then my life will change. I'm thinking of a friend that I played volleyball with her in high school, and she got married, I think, at age 20. And she was convinced that marriage was the highest attainment and most wonderful thing in life. That it was going to be a Disney princess fairy tale, my marriage, like my life will change. And she got married, and it was to a great guy. And she was like utterly disappointed and almost devastated because her life was mostly the same. It didn't change that much. It didn't make like everything fixed and everything happy. So I think we can live in that imagination of like, oh, when I grow up or when I do this.
Totally.
Or I think people can do that also with, and which social media and things don't help, where people be like, yeah, I'm, left my husband because I want to live my free life. Like they had to find marriage, but they had this idea like, oh, I got married too young. I didn't experience the world. Yeah. And so people convince themselves that they're not that super happy in life. They think it's because of who they're married to. And they imagine, it's in a delusion, that, well, if I'm just with somebody else, if this is different, then everything will be all right. They blow up their marriage and their life is just kind of even worse.
Totally.
So I feel like we can, creep towards a delusion that way.
Yeah. And we need to keep ourselves grounded by, I think, having social interaction with people who have been there.
Yes.
The biggest thing for me with like becoming somebody like a videographer or a musician was getting around other people who did video and who played music and seeing how they actually acted. And I was very surprised to find out like most of the producers who I met are really normal people who are just kind of making it up as they go along. Like they have kind of a map of where they're going, but not really. And I thought these guys had it all together. I thought they were like geniuses, but really they're the same as me. It's the same normal everyday life. It's just a little bit more creative ideation. And so helping other people realize that marriage isn't the thing that's going to fulfill them would be like a high goal for a lot of other married couples. If she had reached out and wanted that help and like asked people what was going to happen when she got married. But instead we kind of choose to make these goals in the future and be like, when I hit that, I'm going to be so fulfilled.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't wait to be, I can't wait to be a wife. Can't wait to be a husband. But instead that social interaction is just missing. And I think that's such a huge part of not living in delusion is talking to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you think about like the cults that they all think that, they're going to get on Halley's Comet and like get swept up into space to be with their God or something like that. And they like all mass end their lives together or all do these mass rituals. They were fully bought into a delusion. And that's why cults thrive is generally you're not connecting with other people who can maybe be like, oh, that's an odd thought. Maybe you don't need to end your life as Halley's Comet is going overhead to be swept up to Mars.
Totally.
So I think that delusion thrives in echo chambers, and we can even see that on social media, because social media, the technology curates to showing you what you linger on, what posts you linger on, and so you kind of think that everybody else thinks that way.
Yeah Absolutely. Social media is that's helping so many people live in delusion. Oh my God. But anyways,
keep going on.
I know. Anyways, we got to go down that rabbit hole for a while. Anyways, I hope that's helpful for people who are struggling with delusion, or if they have issues with not living in reality. Find that balance, implement that action to your imagination, and use your imagination for the positive things
That's good.
Where you want to go in life, and achieving those goals that you really want to hit. So
it's good. Yeah, you can live in reality and still dream for the future. Just what your dreams are about or your imaginations are important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Very deep topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think.
Good job.